Yes guys, and welcome to our Jake Talks Football YouTube video, and today we're going to be discussing if Liverpool need two more forwards to come in this window. In my opinion, we do need two to come in. Obviously Ben Doak's now gone to Bournemouth for £25 million. He's not going to be, it wouldn't be have been a player that would have been in the squad really, or in the starting team anyway, but for the cup games possibly could have been in and around it, but in the league, no. But it's 25 million pure profit. Obviously, we bought him for 600,000 on a compensation from Celtic. I believe it was 3 years ago now, and now we've sold him to Bournemouth for 25 million. In that period of time, he's only ever played 10 league games. Don't think he's started any at all, but I'm not sure on that 100%. I'm pretty sure he hasn't though. But yeah, 10 league appearances. I know he's obviously started in the Europa League when we was in that a couple of seasons ago, but 10 appearances and you're getting 24 million profit. It's ridiculous business once again from Richard Hughes. Yeah, I know he had a good loan spell last year at Middlesbrough. Was one of the best players in the Championship before he got injured. And obviously that is a massive help towards the transfer fee that Bournemouth are paying. Obviously they've lost Atara today to Brentford. They've also lost some other players. Semenyo was good last night against us, obviously, but is he going to move in the last few days of the window? There is talk of Liverpool wanting a £60 to £70 million Premier League winger. Who that is, I'm not sure. It's got to be someone that can play on the left, though, in my opinion. I don't believe we need anyone that can play on the right. I know Salah's going to be going to AFCON, but we've got options there, unless it is a person that can play on the right and you're thinking long term as well as Salah. But then, are we going to end up keeping Chiesa? It's another question. He's obviously said he wants to stay at the club after he scored his goal last night, and I'm not sure if he will leave, because it's gone a bit quiet in Italy regarding which teams want to buy him. They can't afford the wages he's currently on either. The only realistic team I could see him affording his wages would be Inter or someone like a Milan, but I'm not convinced at all that either of them two would be interested in signing him. Inter have been looking at Ademola Lookman for that wide position, but it looks like that's not going to happen now, as Atalanta are still refusing to sell him. So maybe Chiesa could be an option later on in the window. I'm not sure, but I actually think he's going to end up staying, which is a surprise because I honestly thought he would be going, especially with the World Cup year coming up this year. I thought he'd be gone just so he could try and get in that World Cup squad. Obviously he's not played for Italy since he's been at Liverpool, not been in a squad since he's been at Liverpool, but hopefully we see more of him if he stays than we did last season, because obviously there's definitely a player there. You could see that by the finish he did last night against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final. It was another great finish, and he's a player that the fans love. He's got the best song, and let's just hope he kicks on if he stays. Obviously, the big transfer still to happen is Alexander Isak. Especially, you see the Newcastle fans after today's game against Villa. They're fuming. They're unhappy. Sorry. They just want him gone now, I believe. Eddie Howe said there's a way back, but they all want the situation resolved. I listened to Anthony Gordon's interview after the game. He said it's been a bit distracting, but they're always a close-knit group. And he said he can't wait to play on Monday regarding all what's going on. So reading between the lines, you've got to think this week, upcoming week, something's going to happen regarding Alexander Isak's situation, because we're not going to be going into the last week of the window needing two forwards and another centre-back and trying to do that in the space of 7 days. It's just not going to happen. So this week, something's going to happen. Something's going to give. Either it's going to be a Mark Gay coming in, it's going to be another forward coming, maybe this winger that we're after. But in my opinion, I think there's going to be movement on Alexander Isak before Wednesday, 100%. He's definitely not going to be playing in that game, whether he's a Liverpool player or there's a deal agreed with Newcastle, or he's even still at Newcastle. He's definitely not going to be playing in that game at all. He's had no pre-season as of such. I know he's been training on his own, but you can't call that match sharpness. And if Liverpool's going to be spending £130 million on a player, they're not going to want to risk him when he's not fully fit and risking missing out on large parts of the season, because he does have the occasional knock anyway. So I don't think we will see him really, even if he does join in the next 10 days until after the international break. Unless Slot believes he's got maybe 20 minutes in him against Arsenal if it's a done deal by then, which at this stage who knows, because obviously time kills the transfer. Obviously the longer it goes on, the more unlikely it happens, because Newcastle need a replacement. You look at Newcastle today, awful going forward, really. Like, they got no striker in that team, in that squad as of yet. Obviously Wiz is going to advance in the next 2 days. Whether that then leads to Isak, Newcastle coming back to the table saying, look, we'll come to the table now, we've got Wissa through the door, and we'll use the money and we'll go and buy a Gonzalo Ramos, what they was linked with again yesterday. Or maybe a Nicholas Jackson, who's obviously not going to be in the Chelsea squad for tomorrow's game. But then do they want 2 strikers at Newcastle that's going to be going to AFCON and missing another 6 games? And then risking Newcastle for 6 games themselves in the December-January period without a striker, playing Anthony Gordon now, who they've not actually ever won a game with him up front through the middle. So it's another thing. Gordon did say though in his interview he is surprised that he's gone into that role so early. He didn't expect it himself, but he obviously knew he'd go into a more central position in the future. So maybe it is just going to be a whistle and they're going to roll with Gordon and see how it goes, and then obviously we'll get Alexander Isak within the next 10 days. So let me know, guys, in the comments what you think about what's going to happen in the next 10 days regarding Isak and this mystery winger we're also interested in buying. I'm not sure who it is, but apparently it's from the Premier League. But hopefully we can get a couple more faces through the door before September the 1st. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe. I'll see you all next time.